Sorry about that, guys. My hand is, I gotta think reverse. It's funny when I look in the mirror, Karen. When I look in the mirror, my hand is reversed what I'm doing. Oh well, you'll have to accept me the way I am, guys. Sorry, I haven't been online for a while. But my grandson forewarned me. He said that you know what, uh, to be online, you got to be consistent. And I promise you, one of these days, I'm going to be consistent. I'm still doing some really good studies in what I want to do. Take the earplug out. I don't need that. And I thought I'd just kind of get online to talk a little bit. What I want to talk about, I don't know, I've been a Christian a long time. I've had my ups and I've had my downs. But I'll tell you what, I watch Watchman River, and his name is Tom. And if you guys get a chance to go online, I mean, I'm retired, so in fairness to me, I can get online anytime I want. I am trying to be, excuse me, I am trying to be a Tom, not like Tom, because he's very articulate and does well online. He keeps you updated with the most modern news. It's it's unbelievable. I mean, he does such a good job. And what's nice about it is it's honest news. It's truly honest news. He does the best he can. He's basically talking about um, what's going on in prophecy that has to do with rapture. And I think I've said it before on Bible studies. I'm a rapture junkie. Um, I love studying the rapture. Um, there's so many different spots in the Bible to study the rapture. For those that don't know, there's definitely Revelations. That's the obvious. But also, there's First Thessalonians. And if you want to check out something that kind of sparked my attention for the first time ever was rapture means caught up. And in First Thessalonians 4, 15 through 18, it basically caught up is there. And it's where I really started to get to understand where the rapture is in the Bible. Caught up is basically um, rapture. I'm going to get into a study more about the rapture as I get all my information. I'm not like Tom. Tom is well organized. I'm just ad libbing right now. I'm trying to get some kind of structure. I sure love talking to you guys, and I definitely, and I'm talking, of course, in case you guys know nobody, but I sure love talking to people online. I'm going to do one on, my title will be um, Those Left Behind. And I plan to basically go online because I'm hoping all you that are listening won't be listening to this when I do the Left Behind, because I'm hoping that you guys are listening to a lot of good theologians and pastors that are hopefully not tickling your ear, but they're telling you about the fact that it's coming. It's coming real soon. I don't know the time of the hour. Guys like Tom that's been doing it for over 3.5 years, he'll tell you nobody really knows the time of the hour. I do want to say this, that if you're listening to YouTube and you get somebody that gives the time of the hour, don't get mad at them. I mean, some of the studies that I've listened to, I'm not going to get mad at them. They didn't hit the date. Like Joshua, not the date didn't happen on the 23rd, 24th. I'm not mad at him. You know what I like about it is because he got on there and said it was going to be on the 23rd, 24th of September, 2025. It made me, the old man, dig even deeper into the Word of God. And I thank God for guys like Joshua. I'm not going to get angry. There's guys in there like Tom. He has never, ever given a date. Some people accuse him of giving dates, but he has never given a date. He did say last year, and I'd laugh, Tom, if you ever hear this. I doubt you will, because I'm not one that's going to be popular this year, YouTube. But if you ever heard it, um, my wife almost fell down. If you ever did hear it, he said he would eat his hat if it didn't happen in 2024. Well, guess what? It didn't happen. And I'm going to give Tom credit. He didn't eat a hat necessarily, but he got sent a baked cake of a hat, and he ate it because none of us that were watching wanted to truly eat a hat. And he said he would be very, very careful about doing that again. Um, I was a firm believer. I believe, because I've been studying all along with him, that it would happen in 2024. In fact, I told many family and friends who now think I'm nuttier than a loon that it would happen in 2024. Well, it didn't. Now I'm telling my whole family and friends, because I've been deep into the study of the Revelations, it would happen in 2025. Well, it's now November, but I'm not giving up. I still believe that it's going to happen before the end of this year. Don't quote me. Don't sit there and get mad at me because I'm saying it. I just know it's that close. And Tom will tell you, it's that close. Okay? God forgive me for saying it's going to happen in 2025 and it happens in 2026. But people, it's going to happen, and it's really close. I myself am 79 years old, just short of it. And I'm telling you, where'd time go? My wife and I look at each other. And we're very blessed. I've been married to my wonderful wife for 56 years. We're both going to turn 79. I'll say something funny. She was born on December 16th, and I was born on December 18th. So for 2 days, I have a lot of fun. Actually, a day and a half. I'm married to an older woman. I mean, she is older by 2 whole days. And in fact, if you knew the time we were both born, it's not even 2 days. It's 1 day and so many hours. I didn't do the exact calculations, but it sure is fun for one full day. December 17th, I can give her guff saying, "My goodness, you're an old woman." And then it's back to normal because she's my age and I'm her age. Just something to say. It's kind of funny to laugh about. Uh, I think I've told all you guys before. I have one daughter, a wonderful son-in-law, in-laws that we love. I have two grandsons, and I have two granddaughter-in-laws, and I'm blessed with five great grandchildren. I didn't think I'd live long enough to see my grandchildren, and here I am. Now I have five great grandchildren, and very blessed. Are they a pain in my neck once in a while? You betcha. Hard to keep up with those young kids. The oldest are 14 and they go on down to 6. But the younger they are, the harder it is to keep up with them. I'll tell you a little funny joke one time. I don't believe in beating kids, but I'll threaten them with a belt. The pop of the belt is probably the funniest thing. It's not, you don't hit a child with a belt hard, but when the two belts slap together, it sounds like you're killing them, but you're not. I mean, don't take it personally. It's not a terrible punishment. I used to get swatted with a willow stick by one of my uncles, because he sat there and if you did bad things, which I used to work on a farm 2 weeks out of the year, if you did something bad, he'd say, "Go out and get a willow." And I learned from one of my cousins, don't get the thin ones, get a thick one, because the thin ones really hurt. You could tell my other cousin got a cup more than I had ever gotten. So just as a joke, get the thicker stick because they don't hurt. You feel it, but they don't hurt. But I'm back to the thing, the belt. Here's what's good. I'm a great grandpa. How does a great grandpa who is kind of crippled up catch a 6-year-old? Well, he outran me, and it was kind of funny. I mean, I had to laugh but eventually, like I told him, eventually you're going to sit down, and Papa's like an elephant. An old elephant, he doesn't forget. Soon I'm gonna get you. And I did, which I didn't have a belt at that time, but I got a kick out of him when I caught him. Because then he started, saying, "Don't hit me." I said, "I'm not gonna hit you." But I said, "You learn anything?" And he said he did. We know he did. He's just a kid, 6 years old. They're gonna push you to the edge. All you great grandpas and all you grandpas that have a 6 year old, 5 year old, for that matter, the teenagers are even worse. They're gonna push you. They'll push you and see how far they can push you. I think that's just built into our DNA. I never pushed my mom because my mom, when I was, gosh, 16 years old, I thought I was a big shot. And I told my mom, "You can't tell me what to do," because I'd gone out and worked for my car because we didn't have a lot of money. She said, "You want a car, you go earn it yourself." And she was going to take my keys away. And I said, "You're not the boss of me, and you can't tell me what to do." Well, my mama, all my family knows who she is. We call her Momo. Well, she grabbed a steel frying pan from underneath the cupboard, and she said what she would do with this frying pan, I don't want to tell you. But the bottom line is blah, 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 and your head's going to hit the ground. And I looked at her, and you could tell in her eyes she meant what she said. She wasn't going to take it. So she said, "Get to your bedroom." Well, maybe some kids would take the hit. It was a steel frying pan, kids. I went into my bedroom and shut up. She didn't take the keys away, but because I think she realized I learned my lesson, because I did. You know, as I got older, I was blessed. My mother moved in with my wife and I for 10 years, 10 plus, till she passed away. And even then, even though she was the old woman, like me now, she passed away at 84, I still respected her. And she still got mad at me, tried to tell me what to do. Well, guys, you know what? Yeah, she's old. She didn't have Alzheimer's, dementia, or anything like that, but she still liked being the boss. It's just pride if you let her get him. You laugh about it. You let her get away with it. Let her think she's the boss. So what? It's just pride. I mean, I'd sit there and say, "I'm sorry." And I'd laugh. But I'm not in front of her, behind her back. I'd laugh a little bit, saying, I'd tell my wife, "Well, Mom was just telling me." I'll use a quick story. She was a diabetic, and she had made a bowl of ice cream with chocolate syrup. Well, my wife and I took her to the doctors. If she was alive today, she'd be mad for this story. If my sister ever listens to this, she'll laugh because my sister wasn't there when it happened, but it was really funny. Well, I'm sitting there and I'm in the kitchen doing some cooking. Or no, actually, I was doing some cleaning. And as she come out, she made a bowl of ice cream. Now, she was allowed, according to the doctors, a half of a cup of vanilla ice cream. They didn't want her eating all this other stuff that has more sugar. A half a cup of vanilla ice cream because my mom hated sugar-free anything, which I agree. That's a whole other story on sugar-free. We can talk about that another time I cook show. But here she had a bowl and 1 teaspoon, not tablespoon, of chocolate syrup is what she was allowed. The doctors, because she told the doctor she liked chocolate syrup. He said, "Okay, well, 1 teaspoon." Well, folks, 1 tablespoon is not a lot of chocolate syrup. 1 teaspoon is deadly. A little spittle chocolate. Well, she probably put on a guesstimate, and I'll get to it in a second to show you, probably a half a cup, which is what she's supposed to have as ice cream, of chocolate syrup. It was layered in there. So I said to her, "Mom, you're only allowed a half a cup." She says, "That's a half a cup." Again, I probably pushed the window, but I had to go. I got the ice cream out in front of her, and I took a half a cup, and I took a knife, and I sliced it right across the half a cup, put it in a bowl, the same size bowl that she had. Well, then I put a teaspoon. just a teaspoon of chocolate syrup. And it was kind of funny when I looked at that wee bit of ice cream and the chocolate syrup that was a teaspoon level didn't even cover the ice cream, and it was only a half a cup. Well, lo and behold, I think my mom got the idea. But being the mom that she is, and you knew my mom, she's a loving mother. I'm not getting on her case for that. Well, she managed to toss that bowl of ice cream across the room and almost hit me, and it went over the wall. Well, because she is my mom, I started laughing. She went into her bedroom, and we cleaned the mess up. My wife thought, my goodness, she's not happy. I said, well, I'll go in and apologize to her. I know, look, guys, I know you're not. That's again pride. If I didn't apologize to her, then I'm just making pride be my boss. So I went in later and brought her a bowl of ice cream. It had a lot of ice cream, chocolate syrup in it. And I told her, I says, Mom, here's your ice cream. I'm really sorry. I was just thought I was doing a good thing, trying to show you, to be careful with your diabetes. Well, she calmed down and she ate the whole bowl. It's okay, but it's just a funny story because I could have handled that differently and just told her, you're not going to have any ice cream in the house again. But she's a mom. At that time, she was 83. I mean, really, it's not like she had that kind of ice cream every day. But it was just kind of a funny story because you guys got to watch it. And moms or dads. I don't have a dad. I lost my dad when I was 5 months old, so I don't know who he was. But it's kind of funny, you guys that have dads. I'm sure that dads do the same thing. I've had a lot of stepdads. My mom she was married after my dad. She lost actually a short story. My mom married her love of her life, her soulmate, and he died in World War II. One. And I had an older brother, and she had lost a set of twins. So my mother had a set of twins she lost, a crib death, and then my oldest brother, who was a year and a half older than me, and then she had me. And then she remarried, and remember now, I was 5 months old. She remarried, and I thought that he was my dad. Never did put two and two together because I would always be being called a double name. And I didn't understand that because it was my stepdad's last name. But I didn't know he was my stepdad. So when they called me a double adjective or pronoun, whatever you want to call it, I just never registered until my mother, when I was 8 years old, said, I'm divorcing your dad. And I started crying. Why are you leaving my dad? Well, being my mother, you got to understand, she's a loving person, but how she handled it was she told me, he's not even your dad. Your dad died a long time ago. You're nothing but a drive-in baby. And that was the end of that. Well, at 8 years old, that didn't settle well with me, but what was I going to do? I was 8 years old. I'm not telling it to you it's a sad story because there's a lot of kids that lost their fathers in wars, in car accidents, thousands of ways, sickness. But I was kind of shocked. Well, lo and behold, my friends and I we're building a tree fort. We're about 10 years old, and this guy had a telephone truck. Oh, by the way, my stepdad worked for the telephone company. I had my dad that I thought was my dad. Well, this telephone guy comes and says, "You kids have got to get out of that tree. You're right next to a 10,000-volt line." And of course, being the sound and good kids that we are, that's why I'm saying I understand what the belt is. We were taking slingshots that we had in our Shreveport, and we were shooting acorns at them. That didn't go over well, and this man was a pretty big man. Now, of course, I'm only 8'10", so I mean, obviously anything but giant. They came up on one of those lift ladders, and they took us down because we had a little drop down, a little rope ladder, so we'd pull it up so nobody could get up into our fort because we cut all the limbs off so you couldn't get up into our fort. And he took me home, and he met my mother. Well, lo and behold, they got a kick out of it. I got a little spanking for it. But they got a kick out of it. And guess what? She married him. I know, the telephone guy. So now I got a brother. I got me. I got a sister who's 7 years younger than me. And lo and behold, she marries him. Well, let's see, I'm 13. So I said it was 10, so 3 years later they had my little brother, who is the one that I told a story about, heart and lung, kidney, cancer, colon removed. That's the kid, my hero. And they married. And dang if they didn't get a divorce. I'm not going to go through it. It's just a sad story. It was a he said, I said, you said, he said. But I wanted to tell you that my stepdad, that I called him Dad. It just became easy to do. One time, I'm giving you a little story here before I keep going on in the silly, long story, but he had told me I could use his tools. This is my little brother's dad. Anytime I wanted to use them. But the rule was he was very, very methodical on his tools. And that's cool because he taught me to do that with tools. And he had art on a white pin board. Art drew in, traced each one of his tools to be put back where it was and to be clean before you put it back. This guy was a pretty good mechanic, I have to admit. I mean, he helped me fix my car several times. And lo and behold, he told me I didn't put 3 of the tools back. And they were filthy. They were on the floor, and I didn't put them back. And he slapped me across the face. Not hard, just to see it's a pop. Nobody's going to die from a slap in the face. Well, my mother, unfortunately for him, happened to look and see that he had done that. And she started screaming and yelling at him, don't you ever hit my kid again. And I didn't do well, but I stuck up for my stepdad. Because I said, Mom, I deserved it. I mean, he told me I had the right to use his tools. He just asked a real simple question to clean them and put them back where they belong. So don't get mad at him. Get mad at me. Well, you know how moms are. The bottom line is that story ends there. We're worked out. They just got a divorce over some silly things with my little brother and me and my older brother. Well, here's my mom. Now she's divorced again. And she meets this guy from the Army, of all things. And he's a sergeant. My brother didn't like my step. He liked my first stepdad, who I thought was dad. He didn't never got along with the second stepdad, my little brother's dad, and rebelled against him. And they fought. And that's again a whole other story. I told you I got lots of stories. Well, I'm starting to stay to the one with my mom. Well, ended up the guy loved her, and he wanted to marry her, so they got engaged. Uh, he didn't like me too much because I was afraid of the dark. I was by that time I think I was 14 years old. I was afraid of the dark, scared to death of the dark, and he got killed in an automobile accident. Um, Driving back to Fort Ord. He was a sergeant. And it devastated my mother. I mean, it literally devastated because her first husband, the love of her life, well, I guess, I don't know, I'll never know, but I think because the love of her life was in the military as a sergeant in the army. I think that's why she really fell in love with this guy. But they loved each other, even though he didn't like me. And my older brother and him used to have a VA double L ball, scaring the bejesus out of me. But that's a whole nother story. Like I told you, I got stories, stories, stories. And none of my stories, don't get me wrong, don't feel bad about them. They're fun stories because that's my life. My life in general has got some of the weirdest stories ever. It's got some of the terrible stories ever. I can make you cry. I can make you laugh. You name it, I've done it. I mean, after all, for goodness sakes, I'm almost 79. Anybody that's 79 years old has got to have a lot of stories. Some make mine look like they're a joke, and some are very sad. Make mine look not as sad. It's all irrelevant. I'd love to get together online with anybody that's got stories like that because we could sit down probably and have a cup of coffee and have a ball. But he died. Okay. Well, after that, she said she would never marry again. So she didn't. But she met a man who she liked. She liked him. They went on a couple of cruises together. Um, he had a really nice house, and then he also had another cabin. It wasn't a cabin. I mean, it was a mansion in the forest. I'm not going to say where, but the bottom line, it was gorgeous. And they would never marry either one of them. They both had been married. I'm not using the word several, meaning seven, but they were married several times each. And they just both agreed that they would just be, I guess you want to call it, a boyfriend, girlfriend, or I used to tell my mom, why don't you just say you want to be best friends? Because there's nothing wrong with a guy and a gal being best friends. My wife and I, she knew I had a couple of girls she liked a lot, but I told them those are like my best friends. And those are another stories I can tell you that are really, really fun. But again, a storyteller, that's another story. And I'll get online and tell them. You don't have to listen to them. I just like telling stories, and they're all true. But so then she did really well with him. They saw each other. My goodness. He liked the whole family. We liked him. My brother, older brother, was kind of out of the picture. He became, that's another story I'll tell you about. He became a severe heroin addict. He had several relationships. And again, I'm going to tell you the story about my older brother. In fact, you know what? I might do that tomorrow. It's a good story. My little brother had his story, and then I'll also tell you about my sister. Nothing private cookie, but she has good stories that her brother, remember. She can correct me and call me in time and say, hey, you're wrong on that. But that's another story too, which I'll work on that one for you to tell you. So, and I have a stepbrother. That's a whole other story. I have a lot of stories. Like I say, I'm getting online, guys. I'm not talking to anybody. Nobody's even listening. If you happen to tune in on this old man talking, bear with me. I'm trying to learn how to use a computer because when I get my cook show, I plan to stay online every day, 5 days a week. I won't work on Sundays. I'm not going to work on Saturdays, even though I'm retired. I just, like my grandson said, it's to get this all together. It's tiring. More because I'm old. I'm also going to tell you the story about my wife and I. Good story. Like I say, remember, we were married 56 years so far, heading for 57. So, another thing I want to say is there's going to be a story that's going to be online that this is going to be strictly for people that are left behind. And I won't get deep into that right now, but if you say left behind, some Christians will know what that means. And I plan to do that maybe later today or tomorrow. That's a story that I won't be here. So if you ever read that story, or if you read it when I'm still around, and you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. I just feel I need to do this. Tom's done one with 2334. Other prophecy people and Watchmen have done it, and I want to do it. I guess you want to nickname that one. I call that one Watchman Gary, Pop Gary, because I'm a rapture fanatic. I love the rapture, and I really want to take. And I want to let people know, if you got left behind, you're going to have to watch this. So, again, nobody's watching, but I turn my nobody's watching. But if you do see that down the road, and people are still here, you don't have to listen to it. Or if you want to listen to a story that's it's not really a story. It's going to be based on truth. I'm going to back it up with scripture, and I'm going to back it up with a lot of names. I'll let you know who I've studied and listened to. Great men and women, men and women, and help me to get the footnotes I need to do this. I might do it more than once, but I want to get started because I believe time is short, and I believe it's going to be very, very important to do this for people that are going to be left behind. Well, I'm going to sign out for now. Like I say, I apologize for the rambling. All of a sudden, as I was rambling, I thought of that story with my mom. She's was an awesome lady. I'm son number 4, 2 twins, my older brother and my and then I'm number 4. And now I'm the oldest brother. And again, I'm going to tell you the story about my brother George. He passed away, but that's a very good story for you heroin addicts and alcoholics. It's a story you should listen to. I'll also give you my testimony on me. I'll probably bore the heck out of you, but I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict. And knowing the Lord didn't come easy for me. But once I knew and found out who Jesus Christ is, I have never changed, and I'm trying to get better every day. Do I sin? Oh, you betcha. I'm a filthy rag compared to some of you people out there. There's so many Christians out there that are so God-fearing, but I try. That didn't guarantee me heaven, but I try. And we'll talk about heaven too. Well, I'm going to let you go for now. God bless you. You guys have a great, great day. See ya. Okay, I'm off.